As fathers are watching this segment, how can fathers instill confidence in their young men?
Yeah, I think by affirming them,
Okay.
that's the number one thing,
Okay.
and just really talking to them about the positive.
Nice.
And so I realized I read a book. It's called How to Really Love Your Child. It's
Mhm.
written by
Um,
Dr. Ross Campbell.
uh-huh.
And in reading that book, in the preface of the book, he says that spanking your kids is lazy parenting.
Parenting. Yeah.
Recognizing that, man, I probably need to say more. I mean, say no more often. Our children are just little people,
That's it.
right? I don't go to work cussing and fussing at all my coworkers.
Right.
We got a job to do.
Right.
And so to accomplish that job, I got to be a clear communicator. I got to make sure they understand what the goal is for the day.
Right.
And then I also got to make sure that they have the skills to be able to get there. If I haven't done, I think we hear the word toxic masculinity
So much.
so often that
Yeah.
you think that masculinity in and of itself is toxic.
Mr. Taylor,
What's going on,
my
bro?
man.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. So glad you're here with me, man, to have a little light conversation. Have a seat. Your microphone.
Hey, family, thank you for tuning in to another episode of My Manhood Matters. Real men, real times, real journeys. I have an opportunity to bring one of my dearest brothers here on the set. This project could not be complete without this brother. When I think about what he does in the community and what he's not just a husband, he's a father, he's an advocate for the lesser good. He's a fighter for the family, and he's a man that loves the Lord. Hey, social media family, I want you to give it up for my brother, Mr. Robert Taylor.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Taylor, man, I kind of got a little emotional a little bit, man, because I know what you bring to the table, and I know what you do for this community, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
So
Thanks
the
for having
whole,
me.
yeah, so the whole main thing of this project, Robert, was about bringing men together to talk about what's going on. Because a little bit prior to COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, I was talking to different men about what their struggles were. And some of it was just low self-esteem, being demasculated. And I just felt like I need to get men that I know that are solid to tell their story, to let other brothers know that you're not in this thing by yourself. So when you look at the time we living in versus our fathers versus what we look at now, how do you define masculinity?
Yeah, I think that the definition has definitely shifted.
Okay.
I think in the past, we looked at masculinity as being tough and strong and
Right.
definitely not crying or being in touch with your emotions.
Right.
But I think over time, we've recognized that there's many more aspects
Right.
to masculinity and healthy masculinity. I think we hear the word toxic masculinity
So much.
so often that
Yeah.
you think that masculinity in and of itself is toxic.
When did you notice that change?
I feel like it's changed probably over the past 15 to 20 years, actually.
Wow.
I think about my own house. I had a great dad. He was born in Trinidad, and so it's a different culture
Right.
than what we have here in the United States. But to this day, if I tell my dad, "Hey, man, I love you, man. I appreciate you, all of this," he'll still respond, "Oh, okay, all right, thank you."
Right.
And because he didn't grow up in a culture where men could express their emotions in a way to tell you, "Hey, I love you too."
How did you learn it?
For me, it was more so just seeing it um, uh, exampled in my community. So I did see other men being willing to tell each other they loved them, and then I also knew that I had that emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and that I was confident enough
Right.
to be able to express it
Right.
without fear of rejection or being teased or whatever the case is. And so that's one thing that, my dad definitely made sure that we were confident in who we were and our ability to navigate whatever situation. And so,
What would advice would you, for those who don't know, Robert Taylor has a great fatherhood program, and we'll talk about that a little later. You talked about that confidence piece.
Yeah.
As fathers are watching this segment, how can fathers instill confidence in their young men?
Yeah, I think by affirming them,
Okay.
that's the number one thing.
Okay.
And just really talking to them about the positives. We have a workshop that we provide using a curriculum called Strengthening Families.
Mm.
And one of the skills that we work on with the family is to eliminate the ants.
Okay, talk about
And
that.
ANTS is an acronym for automatic negative thoughts.
I
And
like that.
so, what we challenge parents to do is to think about some of the common things that they say to their children.
Okay.
And so, I'll give a classic example. Let's say your child ends up spilling a glass of water on the floor. And
Right.
so now you're frustrated because you got to clean everything up and all of that. And the first thing comes to your mind is, man, you always spilling stuff. Well, is your child really always spilling things, or are you frustrated in this moment?
Right.
And so you bring it up. Your child isn't always spilling things. And so you try to flip the language that we use and turn this into a teachable moment and a positive moment. Hey, man, you did so good with getting your glass of water and everything. Now we just got to finish the task and make sure that we put it all the way up on the table so that we prevent it from spilling in the future. And so let's get this rag, let's clean it up. We're going to clean it up together because we make sure that if we do make a mistake, that we go back and fix that mistake. And so taking those opportunities that sometimes can be a negative
Right.
for the child and turning them into a positive and being intentional about it. And the more you practice doing that, then the more opportunities you'll see. And that's how you reaffirm your child and let them know that, man, I love you just because of who you are.
Right.
Even though there's difficult times and frustrations, here's how we move past that and are able to do things in a positive way.
And it's amazing that you say that. One of the common things, especially in single parent home, especially with mothers,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that mothers always tell their sons, you act just like your daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that doesn't come across as a positive,
Positive.
right? And so, how do we flip that and say, man, I also do a training with other organizations that want to start fatherhood
Right.
programs or want to engage dads in their community. And so one of the activities that we do at the beginning is I ask them, what characteristics do you think of when you talk about fathers?
Ooh, that's good.
And so people, for the most part, are positive, and they say, strength, a provider, disciplinarian, loving, caring, supportive, all of these things, right? And so I asked them, well, if a father is all of these positive characteristics, why wouldn't we want that father to be involved in that child's life?
That's
Right?
good.
And
Yeah.
bring all of those positives.
Right.
And so when you start talking about you just like your daddy, well, let's talk about the positive characteristics
Yes.
of the dad versus the one or two negatives that were, probably your line in the sand.
Right.
But let's focus on the positive things that dad brings so that your child knows that, yes, I am just like my dad. I'm confident. I'm strong. I can be a provider. I can do things in a constructive manner to support my community. I'm going to take care of my kids. I'm going to make sure that they are provided for as well. Let's talk about the positive things that fathers bring to the table versus focusing on the negatives.
Well, I think one thing I like about your program, and we can talk about this too. To see future My Manhood Matters episodes, do me a favor, click like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more My Manhood Matters episodes. One of the things I want to talk about is this. The reason sometimes we can't be fathers because we haven't been here from that little boy inside of us that cause us to prepare to be fathers that we need to be. In your program, do y'all deal with childhood trauma so we can be so we can be that father to our children?
Yeah, one of the things that we try to do is we have each participant complete an ACEs assessment.
Okay.
So we look at some of the traumas that they've experienced going into the programming, and we want to make sure that we try and address those things. So some of the grants that I've written most recently have provided for therapy and counseling
Good. Yeah.
services because we understand that men have experienced trauma in different ways throughout their childhood, which prevents them from fully accessing every part of themselves that they need in order to be a positive role model and a father to their own children.
How long in that program, how long do you think it takes for men to be vulnerable to express that trauma?
I think for every person it's different,
Okay.
but a part of what we try to do intentionally is to develop a cohort where the men come together, develop a relationship with one another where they can trust each other to share that type of information and know that it's in a supportive environment and that they're not going to be judged. So I think there's I can't remember what it is now, but it's there's a thing on social media where they say, oh, you can say what you want and you're not going to be judged.
Oh, right.
I can't remember what it is,
I
but
know what you're talking about.
I've seen it on TikTok or whatever.
So what has been the challenge for you though, Robert? Because you realize you're not
Yeah.
just an educator, you're an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, you're a community leader, you're on the board of education for District 1.
Yeah.
What has been the challenge for you to maintain your stability mentally, spiritually, physically? Because you got so many gamuts. You're a husband, you're a father, you all these things. How do you balance that? And what
Yeah.
has been the challenge?
I probably haven't done a great job of that. And so that's a part of the challenge is
Yeah.
recognizing that, man, I probably need to say more. I mean, say no more often.
Right.
I think that a lot of times people will ask me to do different things and, I just want to help.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, of course I'll do that. But then now I got 10 things to do in the same day.
I get it.
And I'm like, how did I get in this situation where I'm helping all of these folks, but then not necessarily taking care of myself? And so I think that that's a part of the challenge. And then just not feeling guilty about it when you do take time for yourself,
Right.
and sit back and just relax and put your feet up and not
enjoy life.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. Now, what's the difference between Robert 10 years ago and Robert now? Because now your kids are older.
Yeah.
So that's a transition. College, finna go off to college.
Mhm.
So what's Robert now compared to 10 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think my hair was a lot blacker back then. I
Okay.
think that's one thing. But no, I for me, it's really just recognizing that some of the things that I was doing as a father
Uh-huh.
weren't productive in helping me get the outcomes that I wanted in my children.
Talk about that. That's good.
Here's the classic one: corporal punishment.
Okay.
I used to spank my kids.
Well, that's how we was raised.
My oldest two kids, man, they'll tell you, like, I can give it to you.
No, we got
And,
beats, Robert.
yeah.
Them kids got spanking.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say spankings for today since we are recording, but they got spankings,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And so I realized I read a book. It's called How to Really Love Your Child. It's
Mhm.
written by Dr. Ross Campbell.
Uh-huh.
And in reading that book, in the preface of the book, he says that spanking your kids is lazy parenting.
Yeah.
And I was challenged by that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, let me see what this guy talking about. And he explains how it's way more difficult to provide your child with the self-discipline so that you don't end up in a situation where you feel like you're frustrated and you have to spank the kid to discipline them. It's just way more difficult to create that relationship where your child is self-disciplined. But he gives you the skills and the tools throughout the book to be able to make that happen. And so I was challenged with that. So I went from spanking to becoming a yeller. Right.
So you hollering.
Right. So now I'm yelling at everybody in the house.
But from sidebar, I can't even see when I tell you Robert Taylor's really a mild mannered dude.
Yeah.
But I can't even see you.
So it does. It takes me a while to get there.
Yeah.
I'll backslide every now and then. But I've learned over time that that's not productive.
Right.
It doesn't get me the outcome that I'm looking for.
Okay.
What gets you the outcome is, one, developing a relationship with the child where you can talk about pretty much anything.
Gotcha.
Right. But then also developing a sense of self-respect.
Yeah.
Helping kids to understand, our main issue is I need somebody to clean up behind themselves.
Right.
I cannot tolerate when the house is messy.
Right.
And so I need you guys to clean up. And so how do I instill in my children that value so that now they see it as something that's important, and to maintain the cleanliness of the house, and how that allows for just a better mental state.
Right.
And make sure that you're not always looking for things because you can't find them, and just all of those things. So just how do I help them to understand that this is the value of Team Taylor in our household.
Right.
And this is
so
the standard.
You don't spank no more at all.
No.
Okay.
No, not at
do
all.
that no more.
Yeah.
Okay. When did that stop? After the second one? When the third one you stopped?
By the third one, yes.
Yeah. But let me ask you this though, Robert. What about the kid that's really mouthy though? Your kids are well mannered, so we can't talk about the Taylor house.
Yeah.
But what's about the child that just talks back, just a flat foot disrespect?
No, I mean, they start off that way.
Yeah.
But then the relationship that you develop with them can take it one way or the other.
Okay.
And so here's the one thing that helps me to kind of wrap my mind around it.
Okay.
Our children are just little people.
That's it.
Right? I don't go to work cussing and fussing at all my coworkers.
Right.
We got a job to do.
Right.
And so to accomplish that job, I got to be a clear communicator. I got to make sure they understand what the goal is for the day.
Right.
And then I also got to make sure that they have the skills to be able to get there.
Right.
if I haven't done my part as the manager or the supervisor to provide them with those things, I'm the one that's accountable.
Right.
And so I can't hold my kids accountable for something that I haven't given them,
Right.
that I haven't put into them.
Right.
And that's the role of parenting. That's the toughest part. That's the challenge, is how do I hold myself accountable to making sure that I put everything into my kids they need to be successful, so that they don't feel like they got to talk back to me, so that they don't feel like I'm an antagonist or
Right.
I'm the enemy.
Right.
They know that we're working on something together.
Right.
And so once I learned that and kind of refocus my mind around what my role and responsibility is as a parent and as a father, I've been able to develop a much better relationship with my kids. And so people always say, "Oh, your kids are good." Well, that's because I put the work in,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
And so that's why I it's just like talking to people about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If something works for me, I want to share it with other people so they can get those same results.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, Robert, what's next for Robert Taylor?
So right now, I'm working at Meharry Medical College
Right.
as an instructor. I'm also on the Metro Nashville School Board currently.
Right.
I think for me, in those two roles, recently we had a shooting here in Nashville in one of our high schools.
Right.
And, the community came out. They wanted us to put metal detectors in and all of that. Well, the school system did their part. We put those metal detectors in.
Okay.
Now, that may stop a gun from getting into the school, right? And they're actually called weapons detection systems.
Right.
So they can detect pretty much any weapon, even,
WDS.
yes. So, but how does that prevent somebody from getting shot in the parking lot
Mm-hmm.
or getting shot on the bus
Right.
or at the mall or any other place that we go?
Mm-hmm.
The issue isn't fortifying the school buildings. The issue is making sure that the issue that is taking place in the community with our lax gun control laws and just a lower standard for what we want as a community around gun violence.
Right.
That is the main thing that we need to focus on as a community, and I'm hoping to take some leadership in that role and helping to bring some creative ideas around how we can address gun violence in our community.
Robert, when is the book coming out?
Oh man,
Taylor, come on, Taylor.
I need a ghostwriter or something. I
We've been
guess
talking about this for a minute, Taylor.
that's one of the things I'm gonna have to say no to for right now before I add something else to my plate.
You have so much wisdom and knowledge in you, boy. It don't even make no sense.
Well, that's why we're doing this today,
That's
though.
why we're doing this, right? That's why we're doing it today. And so, give me one word to describe manhood.
For me, manhood is it's two words:
Okay.
emotional intelligence.
Talk about it.
And so, for me, I think that to be a man in our society today requires a great deal of emotional intelligence, far more than what our fathers and grandfathers may have had or even known was a thing.
Right.
And for me, I want to make sure that my kids have a high level of emotional intelligence, that they can regulate their emotions, understand when they get angry, that here are some things that you can do to address that feeling, to understand what their goals and objectives are and how to accomplish those goals by utilizing their emotion, their desire to make things better for their community and make things better for their family. So in my estimation, emotional intelligence is the most important thing that a man in our society can be focused on for himself, for his family, and his community.
Wow, that's good, Robert Taylor. So, Taylor, where can we find you, man?
I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm pretty easy to find. My contact information is on the Metro Nashville school system page.
Social media?
You can go to the school board page, but then also I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and you can search Robert Taylor and I'll pop up. You'll see a picture of me. I think my Instagram is Rob Tay Every Day.
Okay.
And I'm from DC originally, so it's got the little DC accent with it. It's ERR.
Right. TAY.
That's it.
Yeah, I got it.
And so you can look me up and come find me.
Hey, man, y'all check my boy Robert Taylor out. He is available for speaking engagements and all coaching and all that kind of stuff. He's a great dude. Thank you all for tuning in today.
Hey, thank you. So my name is Robert Taylor, and if you like the conversation that you heard today, please like, follow, and subscribe to My Manhood Matters on all social media platforms.
Is there brothers you're accountable to?
Yes, they are. I call them a part of my personal advisory board.
Okay.
I have several of them, and they serve they serve various aspects of my
That
life.
makes sense.
Some of them have gone through divorce, remarried. Some of them gone through divorce, they're not remarried. So one of my other books, I asked, that's actually a part of a chapter, and I asked this one fundamental question: are you around people who celebrate you or tolerate you? And you actually have to create a list of the people who tolerate me and why, and the people who celebrate me and why. And if you be transparent and real with yourself, what you will identify is some people who you thought was on one side of the list, they're really on the other side of the list. Sacrifice in having those things.
It's worth it though.
Yeah, that's worth it.
It's
No
more
doubt.
worth it. But I
Yes.
think I can understand. I remember I first got married. The Denosha got pregnant the second year, and she miscarried. But when she miscarried, I thought it was my fault.
To see future My Manhood Matters episodes, do me a favor, click like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more My Manhood Matters episodes.